As 2023 continues drowning in a sea of critically acclaimed game releases, Star Citizen has invited it over to its quarterly pool party to take a dip and eat some weird double hot dogs. This latest patch combines some long-awaited additions and improvements with things no one ever asked for to create an update tens of people will remember. It's time for Star Citizen Alpha 320. As we all know, the best place to start is the end, and today is the end of Port Olisar. The once majestic tri-ring bastion of the ancient Star Citizen persistent universe has finally been torn down and incinerated in the friction-fueled inferno of Crusader's atmosphere. Gone is the convenience of bounding down stairwells into all of your favorite stores, picking up some cargo, spawning your favorite ship, and striking out into space in the time it would take you to finish wandering out of the elevators in a typical station. Now we can enjoy the exceptionally familiar fun of Port Seraphim, a station that gives you that classic experience of zipping around in elevators and navigating the maze-like interior to find the ship gun store, the gun store, and the armor store, with guns. But with this fresh new orbital carbon copy, you gain the ability to respawn there and avoid the hours of flying through the atmosphere for Morrison, as well as the flexibility of having things like bounty hunter facilities and other amazing future content with no known release date. When you've finished exploring this new station, you can hop in your beautiful yellow tuning fork and make your way to the all-new salvage missions. These missions will have you once again heading out into the void to butcher the entire exterior of a ship within a time limit for a fat stack of illegal cash as a bonus. Plus, you get to keep the skin. You've just got to make sure no one can identify these vehicles, since apparently all of the identical ship exteriors are what cops use to determine who they belong to. But if you want to get in on some typically illegal action and not worry about those cops coming for you, you'll want to head into that ever-popular game mode we've all forgotten, Arena Commander. Here, sweeping changes go from top to bottom as the entire interface has been upgraded with a wall of icons showing every event you can join in stunning microscopic detail. You still have the classic Pirate Swarm free flight and control mode from Star Marine, but now you can hit the ground running with a new mode taking advantage of all of the unique and original systems of this innovative game, Gun Rush. Here you'll jog around one of the several new maps like revamped Korea, blasting your enemies with a starting weapon until you get a kill, then you swap to the next one in the progression system until someone completes them all and wins the gun Rush. That isn't the only new terrestrial game mode added to the list though. If you were excited about Theaters of War when you saw it 4 years ago, then get ready for something that might remind you that it still isn't around with Tank Royale. Now you can hop in that rugged behemoth that still has no purpose in the game and take on other Nova tanks in a vicious War Thunder experience, blasting away armor and enjoying the exciting challenge of trying to control a multi-crew vehicle while solo. But you can have a much more approachable solo experience heading into the dedicated niche popularity of racing, which has been updated with the new maps added to the persistent universe. Now when you slam into the wall at hundreds of meters per second and disintegrate, you can just respawn and keep racing instead of spending 20 minutes getting a new ship and flying back to the track. There's even a test of the new master modes on the PTU that gives you the opportunity to switch between having your ship haul ass but without shields or guns, or go slow and try to kick some ass. It's truly fight or flight, and the decision is yours with only a press of a button. This new setup also includes changes to targeting and a trade-off in firepower if you choose fixed gimbals or the auto gimbals of lazy aiming. And you can test it out versus this Vandal swarm that is now truly a swarm comprised of sadistic bees that will sting your ship into oblivion in a matter of seconds. But if you're more into majestic butterflies spreading their cargo-filled wings than bees, the Hull series is definitely more your style. You may remember the Solo Crew Hull A with its bilateral cargo grids hauling a meaty 64 SCU of goodies. Well, now MISC has skipped right past the next letter and jumped into the big leagues with the Hull C. As you dive into this new big boy on the block and explore its Spartan design, you'll soon begin to understand that you've finally discovered the least versatile ship in Star Citizen. From the cockpit, where 3 of the 4 crew guide this shining space dildo through the magic of obtaining cargo, down its long, creepy, stretchy spine to the dumpy butt of this monstrosity, you won't have to worry about any surprises slowing you down. You won't even be able to tell if you're actually moving because you don't need windows to haul cargo. If you do end up in the ass of the ship, you can take the ass elevator up to the ass maintenance to keep those engines shoving that cargo, or head up to the ass exit through this hole for convenient egress. In the middle, you can shimmy up a ladder to find the 4th crew station, where you can control the 4 remote tractor beams that don't work for the cargo loading gameplay that doesn't exist yet. You can also venture into the crew quarters where all 4 individuals can slot right into their 4 beds, sit at this metallic slab table, admire the boxes of the kitchen, or relax and enjoy some leisure time in that classic shitter shower. But you're not here for a pleasure cruise, you're here because this massive cargo ship makes every other flyable hauler look like a toy with its 4,608 SCU of cargo capacity spread across these huge platforms that unfold from its extendable torso. Cargo that now features all sorts of convenient LEGO-style configurations like 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32 SCU boxes. These aren't all of the new additions for 320 though. There are some less obvious changes like an update to ground vehicle handling so you can finally drive just like real life. They've even added quality of life features like forcing player avatars to stay in game if they try to Alt F4 like a little bitch when they're losing in combat, and letting you abandon salvage contracts when you finish 50% of the skinning process so you don't have to dig quite so deep in the nether regions of every ship to make progress. But the quality of our lives can only be so good because the star map is still a giant piece of shit. Star Citizen Alpha 320. Out with the old and in with the slightly less old. If you'd like to see more information about previous updates in an almost informative way, check out my other Star Citizen videos here.